What's up, guys? So, yeah. Uh, I said I was going to break down my engine parts list and all that stuff, and that's still coming. I'm still going to need this weekend to finish the list because, to be 100% honest, when I put out that price list and I was like, okay, this is everything, I'm missing a couple things for like the super high horsepower because I'm going to put some factors in for the 800 plus or the 800 plus wheel horsepower range because I'm definitely want to be building those for you guys or for anyway for whoever. And then I realized I completely left B series like 100% off the list. That just goes to show how far behind that B series thoughts are me. I'm not saying I'm not gonna do any more B series builds. I mean, my Integra is still a B series, and I still have another B series I want to do, two more as a matter of fact. But I don't know. I finally starting to cross over where I don't even really think of that shit anymore. So my bad. I did notice it. I'm going to be doing that later. It's just that list, as simple as it looked, you got to see the parts and shit behind it, and of course the thoughts that went into the part pricing and which parts are going to be used. And it took a whole lot longer to put that list together than I thought. And of course, I really wanted to get to the more budget friendly stuff. So I'm looking at overall prices. I'm looking at everything, and I'm like, where can I cut back on cost, but still make effective power, And even then, I discounted some prices on like the core side for like K20 blocks or whatnot to try and make it affordable. I want to be able to give an affordable, like I want to be able to sell $1,000 block that'll make really good power still. And again, remember, this isn't just the price of engine building, guys. This is nobody that has come to, okay, in the past 2 years, two people have brought me their own engine block and parts to build, so they didn't get charged very much. Everybody else that hits me up, especially if you're from out of state, they don't send me cores. I have to go out and provide that. So you're literally asking me like for an engine block, and then I have to get everything together and send you that block. Like I want that, and then I make it and send it to you. So that's why you're seeing $1,000 for the price tag for these engine blocks. It's not just the cost of the labor. It's the labor, the parts, the shipping, right? All that stuff. Anyway, to get to the meat and potatoes here, the little man K24 or like the little Spartan. Now we know after discussing the other day that the K24 with that rotating assembly is a 300 horsepower capable in a block, right? So that can still be super close attainable with using stock A4 rods. Now, yes, the RBB rods are interchangeable, right? But just to let you guys know, all the core K24 blocks I'm going to be providing are going to be K24 A4s. They're going to be the base model K24. Now, why? Because unlike the K23, its shitty cousin, the K24 A4 block utilizes the same crank that comes in the RBB. So unlike the problem you have with the K23 where you have to get the A2 crank or Z3 crank to be able to use forged rods easily, you can just the base model rods or whatnot are interchangeable with the RBB. So I can go and get a K24 A4 block, which are super plentiful, and I can have that ready, and then you can put whatever fucking pistons or rods you want. Now, yes, if I have RBB rods and pistons available, that's something I'd be willing to sell, but I doubt it's gonna be few and far between because people are gonna ask more for the RBB blocks and they're gonna ask for the A4 blocks. And at the end of the day, if you're building it, it doesn't really matter. Those stock rods and pistons. It's just like if you can get them, cool. If not, not a big deal because you're spending $500 for a rotating assembly, the pistons and rods from this combo, right? But anyway, now the one drawback to the situation here is that you don't have the revving capabilities because the A4 rods are smaller and the rod bolts are weaker. I would not try to push this past 8,000 RPMs. Like 8,000 RPMs, I think would be like the healthy stopping point. I'm pretty sure the red line is like $7,000 or 7.2. So pushing to 8 or maybe 8.5 even if you want isn't too big of a deal. I mean, you could probably, when you're doing your tune, set the rev limiter at 8.5, and then of course you can choose whether you go all the way to 8.5 or not. I mean, you don't have to pull it like that far every single time. I guess if you're in a race and it's close, then by all means. But I figured that This will be a much more cost-effective way to get there. You're not spending the $330 extra on the rods, right? So that's where you're saving the bulk of the money. So I think the price goes from like 1,400 down to like 1,000 and change. Yeah, because it's $320 you're saving, so like 1,080 or 1,090, something around that benchmark. Or again, if you're wanting to build this yourself and you have yourself a K24A4, or you go get a K24A4, strip it all down, take the pistons out, do whatever you want with those. Get yourself the Nippon Racing RRC pistons and slap them on there. I think the pistons alone are like $230. So you're saving on the rods. You know, yes, you won't have the rev range, but I guess that this package would be more something along the lines you use with like a stock head. You can use it with a stock head, or you can use it like a VTEC killer setup, which I think would be super popular, because that way you're not spending a fuck ton of money to make a decent amount of power. I'm actually very curious to see what this setup makes on a VTEC killer head. Oh man, I hope I get to the point one day where I can just do swaps like that, just to test, like R&D. I always tell you guys on the channel here that I'm not trying to make money off you guys by selling engines, and I just want to sell, I would prefer to sell parts. And that's true, but the times that you hear me talk about like, hey, you know, buy this engine, it's mainly because I just want to get the numbers back, because I want to see different combinations in different cars and whatnot, and just see how it all winds out. So there's no real big secret there for the little Spartan. It's the same pistons, but you're using the stock rods. And unfortunately, unlike what I'm about to talk about next, ARP, as far as I know, where I can see, they don't make aftermarket rod bolts for the K24 like the stock one, right? So that sucks. But on the flip side, talk about the K20, the K20A3, right? Now, I've already talked about ad nauseum what you could do with the K20A3 to make it a viable engine, but this makes it super viable. Like before, I had it to where, you know, you could use the regular Type R, and you still can. It's like 11.5 compression, but if you use the RRC, it's 11.81. Now, let's say you use I think that yeah, it's 11.81. So if you use the 11.81, let's say you do like a VTEC killer because you're trying to keep it super budgeted or whatnot, right? Yeah, and again, you're building this yourself. If you use the RRC pistons in that block, right, and you use the VTEC killer head with the K20A3, like you convert. Let's say you have a full long block and you're converting, right? So that will net you like 0.5 compression over. So it should be like 12.3 to 1 for that setup, 12.3 to 1. And then ARP does make rod bolts for the K20A3 rods, and that's something I didn't know. Now, your maximum horsepower limit for that fucking those rods is still going to be 300 horsepower if you want to keep it safe. Yes, there are people out there doing it longer, but if you want to stay safe and consistent, 300 horsepower would be your limit to set so you don't break a fucking rod or bend a rod. But with the ARP rod bolts, you get the full rev range. So if you want to fucking rev it to like 9,000, you're okay to go. So imagine that. You have 12.3 to 1 compression and 9,000 RPM rev range. You could seriously make some power there. I would say you would easily make 240 to 250 horsepower depending on what heads you choose to go with or whatnot, what your head package is. I'm not saying you're going to make that on a VTEC killer, although I'm very curious to see what that kind of compression does make on a VTEC killer. And I would like to be, my first like EGDC K-swap is going to be an NA build. Like when I do the case, when I swap my K into the RSX, it's going to be boosted. I'm already pretty sure I'm almost 100% set and firm on what build's going to go in that car. But at least you know for the NA setup is going to be in an older chassis. I think it'll save on turnaround time. That's a big thing. Like it's not going to take me nearly as much time to get the car up and running because I don't have to worry about piecing together a turbo kit and all that shit. So that's a kind of a somewhat quick breakdown of the little man A3 and the little Spartan. Both those blocks come in around 1,000 horsepower. Not 1,000. I keep saying that. I'm sorry. I'm fucking really tired. But I really wanted to make these videos. I've been thinking about it for days now. So they come in at around $1,000 each, and that's like you're just calling me up, asking me for it, and I'm materializing it. Now the only problem I can say right now is there was a stint where A3 blocks were super available on the market, and they're not anymore. And I'm not going to make the mistake of trying to look for them, because if you advertise for them, people are going to tax them. And as some of you longtime listeners know, I refuse to pay more than $80 for a fucking K20A3 long block. Because you just, like, until recently, like, well, still to this day, I have not made a good return back on them. So I'm not super invested in it. I'm just saying it can be done, like, for mainly if you guys want to build. I do have a bunch of K20A3 blocks still laying around, but they need machine work, and I'm not going to invest ahead of time in building these blocks. This would have to be like case by case. Like, somebody has to order one, I can offer it. Now, as far as the K24 blocks go, I do have those cores lined up and ready to go. So unlike most of the things that you guys asked for, like, I've been getting lucky with the VTech heads, the single cam ones, because those are pretty plentiful. Everybody has one, so it's not hard to find. Every time I ask for them, within a couple hours, I have 4 people hitting me up wanting to sell me one, right? Now, there's certain other things that are, that I could probably still get pretty easy and pretty quick. Like B18 blocks, B20 blocks are pretty easily and readily available, and I don't have to haggle too hard for those to keep those cost effective. K24, I have like an endless supply because I got the connection at the fucking junkyard. Now the K20s in general, even the A3s, not so much, because the K20A3, unlike the K24, wasn't hoarded out. It only comes in a couple cars. It comes in the RSX base and the EP3, right? So yeah, there's that. It makes those a little harder to get. And I'm not, like I said, people like to tax on K20s, and I'm kind of getting away from doing the K20s because it's just the power potential what you can make for a K24 is just, it's so much better, and the blocks are easily available and all that shit. But just, there's the option there for a K20 if you have one and want to build one, or if you do want to build one with me and you want fresh machined or whatnot. I guess I could maybe even throw in a discount for the core because they need to be machined. It's not a choice whether to be machined or not. But maybe like, instead of charging my, was it $300 or $350 core fee, I can't remember which one it is. It might be $350. Instead of charging the full core fee, I would cut that fee in half, and then you could fucking, so that way the price, it'll even out. You'll be able to get a fresh bore K20 block for what you would get for like a standard board K24. Yeah, there you go. So maybe that's a little bit of incentive, and maybe I'll put that out as an advertisement, because I have a lot of K20s that need machine work. Yeah, so there's that. Maybe I'll see if I'll work out a discount for that or some shit. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I hope that clears things up with those 2 engine blocks and gives you some ideas of what you could do if you want to do some shit yourself. And peace. Thanks for watching.